I would like to hear now from bar 51. Since we are two again, can you play the first phrase and then you the second? So you have to go back and forth, and we see the different possibilities of this seemingly same theme, but with different harmonies. First time, please. Yes, that's actually enough. Then now the second time. And then let's hear now, because now I can hear that you know there is a different chord in the second, and you sort of tell me in advance so I know. Can you play it as if you are also a bit surprised? You are the singer and oh, suddenly the orchestra gives you a different chord there. And now, if you will now play both of these, just the beginning, the first time, nothing happens. And then the second time. What is the best way to show that? Should it be stronger? Should it be softer? I mean, again, there probably is not one answer, but I would like you to really explore it. So, can you play first 4 bars is enough then? First time, first 4 bars. Yes, and now? Same. Yes, and I would like to really hear you also play. First time and second time, it's the same. Second time. Okay, that was, second time was really good. I liked it a lot. I've never heard it like that before. So, but this is ways I would like to generate different feelings. Look at the harmonies. And first time, actually when both of you played, the D is quite important. How if it's not important at all? First time, I mean. So, because when he just repeats the same harmony, I thought maybe did you get too much emphasis? Try to think like you are dancing, you take the step, and then you stand still. Let's do a little bit type of dancing. Both of you and me, we try to play it like the first time first. The G is most important. And it's also, speaking about music history, it's quite interesting. At Mozart's time, people were incredibly good to dance. They say that the average in Mozart society was as good a dancer as people who now has it as a living working on stage are today. So it was part of their upbringing. So I think it could be part of our practice also. So let's hear a little bit now. If you play the whole of this phrase, but not stand still. But let's move a little bit around here. Yes, you know it by heart, yes? So, yeah, if you sort of move, think that you are at a court in some European city with velvet clothes and a wig, and you do a little bit of bowing to the queen or whoever is in the room, and you're generally elegant. already very, very good. I think it sounded better when you were moving than when you were standing still before. I though would exaggerate quite much and look for opportunities. Maybe. So when you're practicing, don't think that you're actually performing, but look for opportunities. Let's hear it as different from what I played and you played before. Look for other things. We are just collecting different ways of dance playing it. And it's something about Mozart, he changes character so often, so we must be so quick and alive. Again, I think we should listen to the piano and the actual, let's play it really, really slow one time, just to listen for the harmonies, what does actually happen harmonically. So you can play now the same. Dun, 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 dun. So this is just collecting information, what happens in the harmonies. Listen to the orchestra now. Yes, go on. So this is sort of our ingredients. So if you are thinking that we are chefs, we are going to make a very, very good dish from those ingredients. But we need to really get to know them, taste them one by one. Do it one more time. And at this stage, I'm just, when I practice like this, I would just be listening to see what does this harmony tell. Is it sort of introverted, outroverted? Does it want to go somewhere, or does it want to be resoluted? And of course, there are probably many, many different possibilities here as well. So let's hear it. So I think there seem to be some places where it's especially important what happens harmonically. In bar 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, it kind of modulates. And can you play this chord? 55? Yes. And in the context, let's do from upbeat to 54. What is the possibilities of this score? And again, I would like you to think about Mozart's score as what kind of games does this score allow you to play? What kind of possibilities for interpretation do we have? Probably very many. Let's try it now in tempo, and that this is really a beautiful place to see how that sounds. Yes, in tempo now. Yes, and now maybe you can try this chord as really heroic, completely different. see the possibility of both of these could work, but then the surroundings would. So if you are heroic, maybe we need to be a little bit sort of humoristic, introverted afterwards. If you are beautiful, you need to be more action happening. So let's try it again. You now try. Your task is to still play that beautiful, but you must do the surroundings so that feels right. Yes, and it's very, very seldom that Mozart actually writes dynamic in the solo part, but this is one of the few places. Where is it? Here, yes, this forte. Of course, he didn't write this crescendo. This is the edition. So it's interesting with the Berenreiter Urtext edition, it says authoritative performing edition. So, and in the score, it's also quite often says it is the urtext of the Barratt edition. It doesn't say it's the urtext of Mozart, but it's the urtext of their own edition. So it's actually always very useful to check with the handwriting, because there are small but very important differences between both Berenreiter Henle and other urtext edition and the actual handwriting, because it seems like editions like to be consistent. So if the theme comes many times, they'd like it to be printed the same way each time, for instance, and a lot of other small details. And it's also very inspiring to see Mozart's handwriting. But anyway, now I will go back to these two phrases again. The first, let's say you play the first time, you play the second time. So if the first time is gentle dancing at the court, let's try that. Then second time, your task would be to find what is going on in the opera now. Yes, and we move later in the movement to the second time it appears. Interesting, it was similar to what you did before, but then Ludwig didn't play what he did as the first time. So I think once you have played, you sort of used up the beautiful one, and playing it right after, maybe we should have gone for in this context. But of course there is a lot of movement in between, so we don't really know what will happen. But if you have several good ways to play it and know a lot about the harmonies and what you mean about it, then you have the possibility to be sort of part of an opera on stage when you are playing it, and call it inspiration, but the seeds of that we plant when we practice. So it's very, very important. How do we practice? What is practice? And I find quite much of modern violin practice could be about sort of playing in tune, finding good fingerings, and relatively too little about exploring the score from this type of perspective. So of course there are lots of people actually doing it, but I think most people could do it more